Marcellus Wiley and Ryan Clark, they're beefing. It's
Woo!
Marcellus Wiley, former Buffalo Bill, still a Buffalo part of the Bills Mafia, a celebrated former Bills alum. I think I've seen him at Bills games this year. And obviously, Ryan Clark has been at the forefront of Lamar Jackson should be the MVP, and he should be the MVP. And I'm going to take some little under-the-table shots at Josh Allen. And the next thing you know, Marcellus put together a video on his show calling out Ryan Clark for his Josh Allen hate and kind of I don't want to say following in, but making a point we've been making on this show that Ryan Clark seems to have some sort of racial bias in front of for Lamar Jackson, and that causes him to be overly critical of Josh Allen. I've made the argument on this show, and I've had this confirmed by people that work at ESPN. I'll just be direct. That there are a lot of people at ESPN that have watched and been like, hey, man, what's Ryan Clark doing with Lamar Jackson? He's making Lamar Jackson polarizing. He's making people root against Lamar Jackson, not because they dislike Lamar Jackson. It's just they don't like the racial games that Ryan Clark keeps playing with Lamar Jackson in the quarterback position. People at ESPN are aware of this. Obviously, Marcellus is aware of this, and Marcellus kind of called BS on Ryan Clark in video. Let's play one of the clips of Marcellus talking about Ryan Clark's hypocrisy as it relates to his criticism of Lamar and Josh Allen.
The Buffalo Bills have done what they've had to do to have the divisional game in their stadium.
Yep.
Joe Burrow came there, he walked into your trap, and he took over your trap. Patrick Mahomes came in there, he walked in your trap, and he took over your trap.
Some people are saying now, RC, shut your trap.
At some point, Josh Allen is going to have to beat the other great quarterbacks in the AFC.
Okay. Now I want y'all to just look at everything through this colored lens, and I mean that intentionally, pun intended. Y'all like, why you say race baiting? All you doing is just flipping the words. You just inserting Lamar Jackson for Josh Allen. It ain't like that's race baiting. Well, we got receipts. All right, so here's my man, RC, after Lamar Jackson loses the game. You fought 8. Gave your team the chance, had adversity in the first half and kept pushing. Did everything you had to in the second half to earn extra minutes. That's the way it goes when it's good on good. This ain't on you. You showed up in the most important moments.
I don't know this for myself. And so I can only tell you what I've heard or been told. I don't know this for myself, don't know if it's factually true. But I was told by someone that prominent former athlete, I'll just leave it at that Lamar Jackson is actually bothered with Ryan Clark's shtick. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Lamar loves it. Maybe he wants Ryan Clark to be his Shannon Sharp as Shannon Sharp was to LeBron James. But maybe he doesn't, because Lamar, to me, seems very, very likable. And again, I said it earlier this week, he's like in that Michael Jordan lane where everybody would like Lamar. And the only thing standing between that, to me, is Ryan Clark and a handful of Jamel Hill, a few other racial idolaters that are framing up the Lamar Jackson thing in these racial terms. I was told by someone who feels like they know that Lamar Jackson is bothered by it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Lamar will be on the pivot next week, and he and Ryan Clark will lock arm in arm, and they'll play, old Elijah Muhammad tapes in the background, and they'll wave Black Lives Matter flags and say Josh Allen is, a racist honky, and I should be in the Super Bowl, not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, who's African American. I don't know. But some people are telling me that Lamar is bothered by this, and when I saw Marcellus jump into this as aggressively as he did, I was like, oh, Marcellus may be hearing the same things as me. And me and Marcellus aren't checking notes. We're not, hey, you should go after Ryan Clark. It's not like that with me and Marcellus. I'm not advising him. He's not advising me. We're not sharing notes on anything. I want to read to you guys a couple of Ryan Clark's tweets because it looks like there's going to be a public debate between these two guys, perhaps on Marcellus's show sooner than later. Ryan Clark tweeted out or posted on X directly at Marcellus, "I let you talk about me constantly because I refuse to give you life. You just lie, bro, and play to people that want somebody that they think speaks for us to side with them. So let me know when you want to ask me face to face about anything. I'll even do your show. You're full of it, and you clearly need me since you talk about me so dang much. I gave you the chance at catch eye to eye, but you weren't as talkative that day." I want to marinate there for a second. Again, this is where my issues with Ryan Clark. Not that he drapes himself in Christianity, but he has let off smoke signals that he's a Christian, and so. But clearly, what he is to me, he's a race warrior, and he defines this whole argument in a racial terms. Marcellus, you want to appeal to people that speak for them that are against us or whatever, and he's basically, you want to speak for white people, and we're not, me and my side, we're against white people. That's how he just framed the whole deal. And this is the problem for ESPN and for sports. Sports have never been about racial division. And I just don't understand. Ryan Clark, a former athlete, son plays at Notre Dame, son is on a Notre Dame football team that's really leaned into Christian values and had a lot of success. And we use sports to tear down the racial division. And Ryan Clark just defined himself, TJ, as someone that sees it as white people over there, I'm over here. And if you say something I disagree with, the only reason you could be saying it is because you're on team white. I think this is inappropriate for someone claiming the faith. If debt has been holding you back, this is your moment. Give your finances a fresh start. Contact PDS Debt for a personalized debt solution. If you're making payments every month and your balances aren't going down, they have solutions for you. Bad or fair credit? No problem. PDS can help you save more and pay off your debt in a fraction of the time. Get a free debt analysis right now at pdsdebt.com/fearless.
Oh, I absolutely do. And look, and he has been honest. Perhaps the only transparent video I've seen out of him was the one saying, there was a time where I really felt like I was going to heaven if I died. When he had his sickle cell issue up in Denver, something happened where he thought he was going to die. And he's like, I knew I was going to heaven. I don't know if that's true now. That's an acknowledgement that you've fallen away from your faith. This is the kind of thing that happens when you fall away from your faith. So I think that's an excellent point. I'll add something. Marcellus is a pretty smart guy. You're a pretty smart guy. There's a lot of people who are not afraid of Ryan Clark out debating them. Nobody thinks Ryan Clark is smart. They think he has this much emotional stability. And if you had to confront this guy to his face, it would turn into a brawl. And you think Marcellus wants to brawl with you in the street for no reason? Why would he confront you to your face? Ryan Clark doesn't have an ounce of self-control. He's told us as much on the pivot when he says, hey man, these guys outside, they said something to me, and I'm like, I gotta let it go. And I had to go back out there and take care of it, because maybe that's just who I am. That is who Ryan Clark has told us. So Ryan's acting like everybody's afraid of him. It's like, now we're grown men. You handle these things with guns. We're done fighting like we're 18 years old, Ryan, and that's how you act.
No question about it, because at the end of the day, what we're talking about is who's the better quarterback. And that should be a kind of harmless conversation. And if someone wants to say like, hey, Ryan, I think you got a racial bias as it relates to, that's fair ground. Mm-hmm. Defend it. No, that's not it. Here's why it's not it, blah, blah, blah. But this whole, hey, we got to get face to face. And again, it's like Marcellus is, and I'm not trying to go 8th grade, but again, if you know Marcellus's life story, he's from Compton. He's family members, really involved in the gang culture or whatever. He's not the way Marcellus grew up and the things he saw as a kid and as a young adult and probably still sees today, he's not sitting there going, oh my God, Ryan Clark wants to fight me. but he is like, hey, I'm a grown man and I got 3 or 4 kids. I ain't got time to be fighting nobody. That ain't never been me. And, I've made it in this world because I was someone with emotional control and could see the stupidity of that. Mm-hmm. We can't have a disagreement without Ryan Clark insinuating, and again, Ryan Clark, I'm sure, is somewhere saying, I didn't insinuate that. I'm just saying, let's talk face to face. Again, you come across, I saw you on TV, and I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm not trying to do a cheap shot, but I saw you on TV crying on TV because some white woman allegedly called your son a name in a drive-thru at McDonald's. That's not someone who's rapped that tight. It's not. And so some people just don't want, there are people that aren't afraid of dudes with no emotional control. They just don't want to be bothered with it. And so it's just better to avoid people that have no emotional control. Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.